I'm Bob Savakinus. Welcome to our program in a nutshell. Today we're at the beautiful PNC Stadium of the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre RailRiders. With us is our special guest, Adam Marco, Director of Communications and the radio broadcast of the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre RailRiders. What a beautiful stadium. Welcome, Adam, to our program.
It is a pleasure to be here with you today, Bob.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about this stadium, because I know it's fairly new and it's a proud gem for both Lackawanna and Luzerne County, located here in Moosic, Pennsylvania.
So this is such an interesting story that very few minor league teams have, but as we know, in 2012, this was wiped out. Lackawanna County Stadium, multi-purpose stadium built back in the late 80s, opened in the 1989 season. Phillies affiliate for such a long time, 18 years. The New York Yankees came in, and that's when changes really started to happen here. But across the landscape of minor league baseball, the Yankees wanted grass as opposed to the turf that was here. And as stadiums developed, from the 80s to 90s, 2000s, and now, it's very much like the big league side. The amenities of the ballpark became just as quintessential as everything on the field and for the players. So ultimately the decision made to raise the stadium, take it down to the concrete essentially, and rebuild it. So gone are the days of the old Veterans Stadium mini replica, and now we have one of the premier ballparks in minor league baseball. The whole 2012 season spent on the road, 2013, this version of PNC Field opened up, and there are any number of differences and changes of how it looks and how it plays, but there's not a fan that doesn't come through the gates here and just marvel at the spectacle that this stadium can be when you've got 10,000 cheering on the Yankees against their opponent, the RailRiders against their opponent. It's such a fun place to be.
I'm always amazed. I try and attend many games throughout the course of the season and everything, because it's just amazing again in northeastern Pennsylvania that we have a AAA affiliate of a Major League Baseball team. I mean, not many cities could brag about that, but we here in Lackawanna County can. Your thoughts on just baseball in general being here in northeastern Pennsylvania, AAA baseball that is?
I think Pennsylvania as a state has been given a gift of minor league baseball. There's very few areas where you can drive across this state where you're not within maybe an hour of a minor league baseball team. And southwestern PA is pretty much that only corner, but the Erie Seawolves. In central PA, you've got Altoona, you had Williamsport and State College. On this side of the state, you've got this fine ballpark, or Lehigh Valley, the new affiliate. Well, new is a relative term, but affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. In Reading, you've got, in Harrisburg, you've got a great lineage of minor league baseball across this state. So to have a AAA team in this area, it's certainly impressive. It speaks volumes to what it took to get a team here for the '89 season, but not just that, it's also about keeping a team. Because you see teams, if they don't get a new stadium, or if the funding isn't there to keep things going, to keep fans coming in, those teams might be moved. But we have been very fortunate for over 30 years. So I think it means a lot. It's a status symbol to the community that we are a AAA team. There's only 29 others of these across the nation. It's such a rarity. And AAA markets are wide-ranging, from a team like the Charlotte Knights to the Nashville Sounds that are in contention maybe for big league clubs down the line with expansion. You come to some smaller markets like Scranton-Wilkes-Barre, or Syracuse, Rochester. There's a great history of baseball here that goes back 100 years, then some. And for us to have a AAA team here, you get people driving in from New York, from New Jersey, from the Philadelphia region to come see the Yankees or the Mets affiliates or Phillies. People drive from all over to watch minor league baseball, and it is so much, it speaks volumes to have this in this area. It's kind of a hidden gem in the grand scheme of things. Like, you're driving up I-81, you wouldn't necessarily know that there's this palace of baseball here.
That's an interesting point that you made, though. I mean, northeastern Pennsylvania has a long history of baseball and its lineage and everything. And I remember hearing stories about Babe Ruth having made appearances, barnstorming, and everything throughout our area, and just throughout the history, following it through. But I guess one of the biggest achievements was probably back in 1988, 89, when a person by the name of John McGee put together, like an entire package to bring AAA baseball here. At that point, it would have been the Red Barons and everything.
Sure.
But of course, we now have the legacy of the Yankees here as well. Just kind of looking at some of the major players who have been here, can you give us kind of touch maybe on some of the major league players that have spent some time rehabbing here, that are out there and performing in front of millions of people on the major league level now?
On a side note, there is some lineage in this team that is near and dear to my heart. I spent 8 seasons working for the West Virginia Power down in Charleston, West Virginia. And in the 70s, it was the Charleston Charlies of Willie Randolph and Dave Parker. The Charlies eventually moved on to Maine to become the Maine Guides. The Maine Guides in 1989 moved to Music to become the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons. So I kind of have a little kinship with the organization, maybe a couple years separated from that move, and I didn't have to go to Maine to find my way here, but it's the number of people it takes to run a minor league team, let alone the number of people it takes to bring a minor league team in. I mean, you're dealing with so many levels to get a stadium built, the political aspects of it and everything that goes with it. We've been blessed for 30 plus years with major league talent in this stadium. And that's what you get at AAA. You get guys that are on their way up to the big leagues for the first time. So we get that glimpse at a Chase Utley or a Jimmy Rollins or Ryan Howard before they're the stars and winning World Series titles for the Philadelphia Phillies. In the last couple of years, the biggest names, it's tough to compete with, like an Aaron Judge, who was one of the best to come through here, but he was probably better once he got to New York than what anybody realized what he was when he was here. Major league rehabs, we've had our fair share. I mean, a couple of years back, we had 14 of them. I mean, it was just star after star. Gary Sanchez, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge. We get Masahiro Tanaka on a couple of rehab appearances. The Yankees have utilized this park well because of the playing surface and the facilities provided for the players. They tried to make the clubhouse, the dugout, the field, with a couple of exceptions, as close as they could to Yankee Stadium and making it feel like home for those guys. But there's such a long history of players that have started their careers, lower levels, found their way here, and have gone on to excel. And even the guys that maybe didn't get to the majors and weren't just bona fide stars, but you have guys that are beloved here. Back to the Red Barons eras of like a Gene Shaw or a Dave Doster. Brandon Duckworth came up through the Phillies organization. He's now in the Yankees organization as a scout, so he gets to come back. Mark Bombard, longtime manager. Again, Phillies organization coming up. The respect for Bombi is unbelievable. And now he's within the Yankees organization. I saw Greg Legg just the past weekend when Lehigh Valley was in town, that he lives in Archibald. He married a girl that he met at Lackawanna County Multipurpose Stadium. So it's amazing the stories that can come out of just one little cutout of the world, like a minor league baseball stadium.
Again, the design of the stadium and everything, it's just so fan-friendly and everything. And I've seen so many times attending games in which kids are just, kind of running up by the dugout area and getting autographs of these potential Hall of Famers down the road and things like that. Tell us a little bit about the stadium itself, like some of the great amenities that it has to offer.
Well, in 2012, they took it down to the concrete. And I think pretty much the only things that remain were the dugouts, the tunnels up to the clubhouses, and basically the seating area with a little bit of renovation. It was that high rise where I didn't get to see a game here. I grew up in Western PA, but I'm pretty sure that the light standards now are not even close to where the top of the stadium was back in the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So the goal of a minor league team these days when it comes to their stadium is you want to make it fan friendly. You want it to be a place where there's never a bad spot. So one thing you'll see across the country now more than ever, much like a big league stadium, one of those ballparks that you can do a full 3-circle 360 circle around. You don't have to go up and down levels to do it. Here, it's just a nice, easy walk around the stadium, and that makes for, it's certainly not a bad seat in this ballpark. It holds 10,000. We've got the suite level upstairs with 14 suites on one side, a couple of party suites on the other party decks where fans can take in games and have group outings. One thing we added this year, which is a rarity, there's only one other stadium that I know of that has it, is a sensory safe suite. We just announced it a couple of weeks ago for kids that are on the autism spectrum, that you can go in, you can watch a game there. We give it away free, one guest per night, one family per night. And it's designed to be less stimulating for a baseball game. You know, the sounds of a ballpark, the smells, the sights, the lights, the music, everything going on might be a little too much for some youngsters. So we've partnered with a great company called Curemark. They helped the Brooklyn Cyclones put together the first sensory safe suite. Now we have the second. So even though this was built for 2013 and you can sit in the Coast Pavilion or the Budweiser Rail House, you can take in a game from the suite level, we're still looking at ways to make it better, to make it more accessible, more fan-friendly. But for me, I mean, there's not a bad spot right behind home watching a minor league baseball game.
It's certainly very kid-friendly. I know through the years of my coming to games and everything, in the outfield or behind the outfield area, I know there's like games for kids to play. There's that little field out there that you could just put down, I guess, a blanket or a towel or something and just kind of sit on the grass and just enjoy the game and everything.
Again, not a bad place to watch a game in this ballpark. And certainly the last year has caused some changes in how we operate and things that we can and can't do. And as time goes on, I think we're getting closer to what it used to be, maybe not all the way back there, but people absolutely love watching Friday night fireworks from the lawn, or when we have the fun zone up and operating, you know, the kids going in there and bouncing around for 3 or 4 innings while mom and dad grab a bite to eat or watch the game. It's really needs to be a fun, family-friendly, and safe atmosphere. We want people to come into this ballpark, whether it's this year, whether it's years past, and feel relaxed that they're going to have a good time, a safe time, and the whole family will enjoy the day here at the ballpark.
You started telling us a little bit on the story, but let's go back a little bit, beginning your time in the baseball arena, if you want to call it that.
I went to a small school in Erie, PA, Mercyhurst College. It's now Loftia University. Go Lakers. I spent 4 years on the radio there covering sports. My freshman year, I did back-to-back Mercyhurst Laker doubleheaders, and it was myself and no one around, and there's like no wait between games. It's just 7, go, like talking for 4 or 5 hours at a time. And I went to school thinking I was going to be a serious journalist, and now I work for a minor league baseball team. Wouldn't change it. Got out of school. I was a country music and classic rock DJ for about 7 years. But I was also very much have voice, will travel. Anybody who wanted to pay me a couple of bucks to go broadcast a high school or college game, the occasional minor league baseball game, whatever it might have been, I was going to do it just to get the experience. I learned that there was this thing called minor league baseball eventually, and there was this winter meetings that I needed to learn about where the baseball world comes together every December, the big league side, the minor league side, there's a job fair. I went to that, had a couple of interviews, didn't get a job out of the first time, didn't get discouraged, kept working at my craft, taught myself audio production, just trying to learn the back end of the radio business. But 2007, I had the opportunity to work for the Williamsport Crosscutters. So that was their first year as the Phillies affiliate. My first manager was Greg Legg. So I've known Legger for a long time, and anytime I'd see him over the years, we'd always, have a laugh and a smile about that first season. One summer in Williamsport, a couple of years in Oklahoma City when they were affiliated with the Texas Rangers. So 2008, 2009, we had Nelson Cruz, who went on to be a Major League All-Star slugger, still to this day. Some guys like Neftali Feliz, Derek Holland, Chris Davis run those Texas Ranger AAA teams. And then 2010, opportunity to get my own club, essentially. I was with Williamsport as their broadcaster, but when we were home, it's a small staff. There were only 5 people plus interns. So I was running the Dixon dip on the field and the in-between inning promotions. 2008, 2009, I was the number 2 broadcaster in Oklahoma City, but in 2010, I had the chance to go work for the West Virginia Power, which is in Charleston, West Virginia. And my wife and I got married that year. We had been together for a decade prior. She had already worked in Charleston. We lived there for a little bit, so we knew the city. We knew the area and loved it there. And that was an easy move. And then ultimately for the 2018 season, got the chance to move here to Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and the last couple of years calling games for the RailRiders. And it's been a pleasure.
So we have an upcoming season, a fresh new season starting up. How about some of the promotions that are going to be happening this year? Can you give us a little behind the scenes about what they're going to be for our audience?
Well, as I think a lot of teams across the country are doing, most everybody prepared for 2020 and had their giveaways ordered and had their promotions set and their jersey nights, and everything was done. And then in late June of last year, Major League Baseball canceled the minor league season. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. We have a stockpile of promotional items from last year.
Collector's items, maybe.
I believe they are. So a lot of our giveaways this year are really based on what we were doing last year. So one of the fun promotions we do at the ballpark that we are turning into a bobblehead this year is our Legends race. We have 4 Yankees legends. They are the giant heads that race around the stadium. Billy Martin, Joe DiMaggio, Thurman Munson, and Mickey Mantle.
Billy Martin never wins either, if I remember correctly.
Not as far as I know. We've immortalized them now in bobblehead form. So it'll be 2 dual bobbleheads to be given out tail end of August and the first weekend of September. And I love them. I think they are spinning images of the likenesses that we have of these characters. I think it's a really fun giveaway that fans will like. Everybody loves the Legends race, and no matter who wins, I think this will be a giveaway that people will certainly love. This year, because Hall of Fame induction was canceled last year, Derek Jeter goes into the Hall of Fame the tail end of July, and we're working on a Derek Jeter weekend with a bobblehead, and he rehabbed for us back in 2013 when we still wore the maroon vests, the burgundy vests. So Jeter, most of the pictures we have of him are in that. So we're going to do a jersey night where we're wearing those throwbacks to the 2013 season. Yes, we're throwing it back all of 8 years. But it was historic, and that's how people remembered him when he came through here for that limited number of games. So we've got things like that are on the schedule this year. Some of our typical giveaways: a jersey lunch bag. We've got an umbrella giveaway, a fleece headband late in the season to get you ready for the fall. So any of these promotions, the details, tickets are available on our website at swbrailriders.com. The full list of these summer-long promotions. Plus we have all of our dailies, like Friday night fireworks. Every Friday this season, those are back. And our drink specials, fans are always enthralled in a Thirsty Thursday. The first one of the season, the Budweiser Rail House, was just packed. And I don't know if people knew who Greg Allen was, our right fielder that day, but by the end of the game, they loved him. And they were screaming his name for everything they did. So it's going to be a fun season. It's a different season, if only because a lot of people are trying to make up for 2020 as best they can, get through what they had in stock, and find our way to 2022 when I think things become bright and fresh and new, and we all get a true fresh start to minor league baseball.
But the important thing is that minor league baseball is back here at the stadium. The delicious foods, the giveaways, the thrill of seeing the players and the competition on the field and the games and everything like that. It's wonderful to have that opportunity for people to get back out here and enjoy the stadium here at the Scranton Wilkes-Barre RailRiders. I understand now, because we're going to look a little bit at your broadcast career. Let's take a look at that for a few moments. How has technology changed the face of how a game is broadcast, how you get to watch it on the Jumbotron, and as a fan get to question the umpire on some of those plays and everything? Tell us your thoughts on that, if you would, please.
It is ever changing and the things that I grew up on are things that radio broadcasters and television, the television side, have dealt with for years. And, when I was in college, this means a lot to me. I was still editing reel-to-reels and splicing tape. Everything has become digital. That's certainly a big change, is what we've seen behind the scenes over the years. Then again, what is old is now new again, because of COVID, the way things are being done across the majors. No matter what network it's on, seemingly, very few radio people, if any, are traveling. Television crews are not traveling. They're doing it remotely from a studio. So whether it's the Yankees or the Phillies, whatever it might be, they're not in the ballparks around the country. They're at Yankee Stadium. They're down in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. They're on site there. But when the team is on the road, you're watching it off a monitor. So for the first couple of road trips this year, what we've been doing, we are here at PNC Field. We're watching it on TV. I have a CD with a crowd track. It's 78 minutes. It's been so long since I burned a CD. I forgot that they ran out after a amount of time. So we put it on a loop, but every 78 minutes, you hear it fade out and the crowd come back in. Inevitably, we're not talking at that exact moment. But it's almost like a recreation of baseball, the way games were being done 100 years ago, those first games where you've got a pseudo crowd noise in the background and you have somebody throwing a baseball into a mitt for the pop of the glove or taking 2 mini bats for the crack of the bat. We're not quite 1921 baseball, but it's almost harkened back to that era because of the restrictions placed on ballparks around the country. Minor league baseball is a logistics game, to get these games to be played, to have players here, to have fans here, any number of things that have to be layered. So it's an interesting approach to it this year, but it's all digital. I can record an interview off of Zoom right now and flip it to an audio broadcast for our pregame show tonight. The digital capabilities have helped advance the era, but there's still the microphone, for me, the headset, and the eyes on the field watching and taking in every enthralling play after play.
So what is Adam's favorite part of broadcasting a game?
7:05 first pitch. Any number of jobs that I've had in minor league baseball and responsibilities throughout the course of a day. We all have our things. We all have work that burdens us or weighs us down. But getting to that first pitch and that deep breath right before we go on the air for the first time, and a sigh, and okay, let's have some fun. That's it. I think I've seen too many fireworks shows. Walk-off wins are great, 10 strikeout games, but it's the simplicity of that very first pitch of the game, and this is all I need to focus on right now. This is where my mind is, and I love that aspect of it.
So we take you out of the broadcast booth and you're observing a baseball game here at the stadium. What is your favorite part of the game? The atmosphere at the stadium. What makes Adam say this is a wonderful place to be besides your job broadcasting?
So I tend to be a baseball purist. As much as they adapt the game year after year and try new things, and some of it I'm okay with, some of it I just can't get on board with, but it's there. It is what it is. I'm a foodie, so I enjoy a good meal at a ballpark or finding whatever that unique fare is when we travel, finding out what is this city known for, and making sure I definitely try it, and finding restaurants when we travel. At the stadium, I grew up going to Three Rivers Stadium and then PNC Park. I loved Three Rivers as much as it was a stadium beyond its years at the end, and it's been replaced by one of the best ballparks. But getting a Permane Brothers sandwich or wings or something like that in Pittsburgh, or going out to Chavez Ravine and trying a true Dodger dog. Like, that's the stuff where I just sit down, like, that's the atmosphere I love. I remember one time I went to a doubleheader at PNC Park. I sat us in the outfield because I wanted to catch a home run ball. My wife yelled at me because she couldn't see what was going on the video board. So everything is to each his own. Everybody has their different aspects of a game that they love. For me, it's watching the simplistic aspect of a game, and a gifted shortstop like a Tyler Wade, who we've had here, field the position well and make those plays that are routine for him, but other players I've seen struggle to make. Watching the fluidity of the game itself when the ball is in motion around the field. I appreciate that, plus pierogies in Pittsburgh and sandwiches with fries on them and things like that. So those are the main aspects of the game for me.
If you had to summarize it, what does the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre RailRiders mean to northeastern Pennsylvania as far as a community treasure?
This is an opportunity for fans and families to come out, spend a few hours with each other, enjoy each other's company, and the baseball might even be secondary. Minor league baseball is about entertainment. It's about being to come out to a ballpark, spend some time with your friends and family, have a drink, maybe explain how the game is played, or maybe just have a 3-hour conversation with the person sitting beside you and there's baseball in the background. This is such a unique thing that we have here. It's only now affiliated ball, 119 other cities across the country. It's a joy to have this ballpark here, to have a great game in front of you and your friends and family around you. And I think more often than not, I probably take that for granted. Maybe some people do. And 2020 proved to me how much I missed it, and the ability to have these games back, to have people coming back into this ballpark, and even for just a couple of hours every night. Forget about the rest of the day and watch the fun that's taking place around you.
Again, it just amazes me what a great community partner you are as an organization here at the RailRiders. I know the community organization of the night events that you do as far as helping nonprofits out and just being a great, as I said, a treasure into the community and everything. So I guess the best way to sum it up then is just let's welcome all the fans back and play ball and come back and enjoy the stadium and enjoy the team and everything. Adam, any last words to kind of wrap up our interview for the new season of 2021 baseball here in Northeastern PA?
We're certainly excited to have baseball back, to have our fans coming back into this ballpark. You mentioned the community organization of the game. We have any number of great community programs. If you go to our website, swbrailriders.com, there's a community tab right across the top. So you can get your tickets, you can learn about the team, you can see what's going on, what policies are being enacted at the ballpark for fan safety, but the community tab is maybe the most important one of them all outside of tickets. The sheet seats, our hometown heroes, the sensory safe suite. There's a lot we try to do to be a good partner in this community, whether it's donating tickets or autographs for charity raffles and auctions. We have this reach. We have this fan base. We have this ability to impact change in a positive way. And baseball is just one of the conduits that we have to do it. And I'm certainly happy that we are nearly 100% back to doing things the way we used to and remembering how good we have it to have baseball here and the partner we can be in this area.
One more thing, tell us about Champ, that very entertaining mascot of the RailRiders.
Champ is, I often get what he is. What is Champ? I don't have that answer. I'm not privy to that information, but that's like asking what the Philly Fanatic is. Champ is our lovable mascot who absolutely loves RailRiders baseball. He enjoys cheering this team on, getting the occasional selfie with fans, socially distanced, of course. He is the one true constant of this ballpark. You'll see him every single night. He dances, he entertains, and he's a fun character, and I think you're going to see a lot of good things from Champ as we get back into this season as well.
I know throughout the years that I've been coming again, I've seen him many times in the concourse, just entertaining the fans and just doing the photos, the selfies, and everything else. But a wonderful mascot, as the stadium and the team and the management and everything is. So I want to thank you, Adam, Marco, for spending some time with us here at the Scranton Wilkes-Barre RailRiders Baseball Stadium and spending some time sharing a little bit about your life and your love of baseball and everything.
It was my pleasure, Bob. Thank you for coming out.
I'm Bob Savakinus, and this is In a Nutshell. Thank you to our viewers for tuning in, and come on out and enjoy this wonderful stadium to play ball at the Scranton Wilkes-Barre RailRiders. Enjoy the delicious food, the wonderful giveaways, all the promotional activities. Spend some time with Champ, the players, and root on our Scranton Wilkes-Barre RailRiders.